Thames Death to Helibed 56. Details for dispatch incident in Alton when you're ready, over.
The day of the accident, I was actually out at the town park with Teddy and some friends of ours. Throughout the day, when obviously I'm not with Jay, I always send him pictures of Teddy. And I thought it was really weird because 2 hours had passed and I hadn't actually heard a response. It wasn't like Jay to not respond that quickly. I just got that feeling something wasn't right. And then I brought Teddy into the house, made him dinner, and the doorbell went and I just saw the yellow of them and I was like, that's a police car. I said, oh, come on in, I'm just feeding the baby. And her face just dropped and she said, oh, you have a baby? And she was like, well, James has been involved in a very serious car accident. The police officer then blue lighted me over to the hospital and she just kept saying that I needed to prepare myself.
I remember circling around the incident and seeing kind of the extent of the collision.
We approached the job with our kit and it became quite obvious that there may be more than one patient that we had to treat.
There were several cars involved and there was one that was obviously damaged. James was still in his car.
We couldn't actually get to him and do a full assessment straight away. So it took at least another 15-20 minutes for the fire crew there to be able to free him from his vehicle.
It became obvious very quickly that he was quite poorly and he had sustained some significant injuries.
The areas we were worried about were his abdomen, his pelvis, and the most obvious injury was to his leg. We made a plan to actually put a drip in his hand and start a blood transfusion there and then. That's how concerned we were.
In James's case, we opted to take him by road to Southampton Hospital, so in the back of one of the ambulances. He was so unstable, he needed a lot of intervention on the way to hospital. So he needed continual pain relief, he needed further blood transfusions. It was more important to be able to carry on delivering those interventions in an environment that was open and not as confined as being in the helicopter.
When I got to the hospital, I didn't really know what to expect. I just kept kind of going numb. I remember my mouth being really, really dry. And it wasn't until Jay's mum and sister showed up that I just lost it. I was a blubbering mess.
Honestly, I don't think I'd be here, which would be a scary thought because obviously Teddy, my son growing up without a dad, and Millie having to face all this by herself. We're just thankful that they were there to help, really. The biggest key milestone that I missed in hospital was Teddy's birthday. It was his first. It's the biggest one that meant to us as a family.
We got ready, had breakfast and got straight in the car to go see Jay. And the nurses at the hospital were lovely because their main focus was getting a lot of the equipment off so that he could transfer it to a wheelchair just to come down and see Teddy on his birthday.
Being able to kind of sit outside for a couple of hours with your son it was the best thing. Since leaving the hospital, I've actually been going down to Salisbury District Hospital for some rehabilitation to kind of learn how to walk again.
Say, well done, Daddy.
We went to go see the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance aftercare team. They've kind of filled in the blanks of what happened on the day of the crash, and they're always kind of checking in just to see how I'm doing. They've been phenomenal throughout the whole thing.
To the crew at the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Air Ambulance and to the donors, I would just say a massive, great big thank you, because without them, Jay wouldn't be here, Teddy wouldn't have his dad, and our lives would just be so different and not in a good way.
Perspective on life has completely changed altogether, realising that it all could be taken away by literally just going for a drive. It's certainly changed it, so obviously now we spend a lot of time as a family. It means the world to us now.
It's very hard for, when I'm playing with Teddy and doing, running around and doing certain things that obviously Jay doesn't get to do that anymore, which is heartbreaking. Yeah, it's a lot more special now.